A major problem with, no pun intended on major, with Ghost in the Shell is the rush schedule. On watching trailers of the film, I was wondering, why did they not make Scarlett Johansson's voice sound like a robot? It was trying to be original, I guess, but it wasn't a risk that paid off. I watched it in the film where the audio was terrible, and it actually sounded better, because it didn't sound like Scarlett Johansson, and I would recommend it that way. So on to what I think and would recommend, and what my main problem was with the film. The main problem with the film was the bad guy of the film is very lazy. It wasn't terrible, but it was very lazy. Ooh, the government. You can't trust the government. They'll betray you. They control everything you did, etc. It didn't seem very organic, much the acting did when you didn't have the robotic voices. I had no idea why they were betraying Major in the story. There's no reason for it. I guess it was because she found her identity, but that didn't necessarily mean in the scenes that they showed that she was going to betray them. I don't know why the Major even has a seafood suit. The inclusion of the second season of the TV show was sort of screwing up everything in the movie. It had nothing to do with the beginning of the film. The whole thing about the film is the Major's identity. And I felt like that's all it had to be about. There's a whole controversy about Scarlett Johansson's race in the film. And before I was reading the trailers and reading the previews and reading the spoiler stuff, I was like, alright, they're running it around her. It has nothing to do with the fact that it was all because they wanted to cast Scarlett, and that's why they had it, opposed to making a story that seemed interesting. However, the more I watched this film, it seemed like it was actually very organic, and I felt like the film should have been about this, unlike with Trini in Power Rangers 2017, where her race isn't brought up even though her name is Trini. The Major's race is the whitewashing, and I don't know if they purposely manipulated the media into talking about it, but it's very interesting how they play off the race in the film. It's a very interesting part of the film. The fact that she went from one race to the other. It's obviously going to spark controversy with the whitewashed people, but same with the anti-violence crowd, the same with the anti-religious crowd, the same with the pro-religious crowd. These kind of controversies that make you talk about the film and make it interesting. What did make me interested in the film is the whole anti-government thing. They didn't explain why you should be anti-government in the film. They just had it in there, and there's no reason for it. They could have the more anti-corporate stuff with the buildings and how everything's advertising and how they're made of stuff. I'm trying to remember if this is from the 95 film or the 2017 film, but these companies control all these mechanical and weapons and stuff. That could have been played off interestingly. Being anti-government was a little bit weird. I mean, I guess that guy was part of the company too, but I just didn't see why they had to. It seemed too simple that they would go after her. It felt like there was nothing to do, and this was a short film too. It felt very long. It felt very smart, but this was only a 90-minute film, like the 1995 film. Maybe they're trying to make the film longer, but they could have just expanded more upon the race thing in the film. I felt like it could have been because of the whitewashing that they edited that out, and instead had the anti-government, anti-corporate thing with that evil Caucasian dude trying to do everything to destroy the Major. If that's the case, it's pretty bad too. So yeah, that should have been a separate film. That should have been like the Empire Strikes Back of the Ghost in the Shell film series, which would have been really interesting. Scene where the government you thought you could trust betrays you, it didn't help that a lot of these characters don't have, not like Ghost in the Shell's very character based, but like it was even a little weaker in this film how they portray the characters. They're just makeup people in makeup. I really don't know why they include that in the film. I'm gonna say it again and again. Again, anti-corporate, good. Anti-trans race, good. The idea of identity, good. The thing with the buildings and how they portray the story, good. Other than that, like, it was a smart film, and it did a lot of smart stuff that Power Rangers 2017 didn't do, which was highly praised. I would consider the good parts of Ghost in the Shell way better than the good parts of Power Rangers 2017. However, it's not a well put together film. It feels like a Z movie, considering that it had that little gap there, or that little hiccup that didn't. It felt like two separate films, and it didn't feel like Stanley Kubrick meshing of two different films. It felt like they didn't know what they were doing, and they just had to add something in there because the producer said it or something. And that is what hurts films like Suicide Squad, where they had an original story, which was probably like Reservoir Dogs, and then it got edited out. Trying to figure out another example. That's what makes people consider things Z films. Even though this is a very beautiful film, it's a very smart film, but like it's not a well put together film, as I said before. The message are diluted because of a portion of the film that doesn't have to do with the rest of the film, and I think it hurts because of that. That's my bit on Ghost in the Shell and its negatives.